and also environment configuration. See, all things are very important, okay, to run the application. You would have used different database credentials, and in the deployment, there would be different database credentials. There would be mismatch. See, these problems can arise. Okay, I'll tell you. So, okay. Let's understand what are the things that are required to run your application first. Okay, so you are a developer. You have created one project. It is done and that has to be deployed. Okay, so what is that you will provide for the person to deploy your project to the actual deployment server?
The R file object.
Okay, let's make a note. Okay, just to run the project in the testing or deployment server. Deployment server. Okay, so you will provide the jar file. Okay, what else? Only jar is sufficient to run the project? No. If your application has used database, you have to specify which database you have used, and you would have used some specific credentials, and you would have used some configurations, right? Configurations. Also version, it plays very important role. Version. Then what else? JRE is also very important. The version of JRE, right? JRE. Then what else?
Certificates.
Certificates, right? Suppose if you are using softwares which are paid, yeah, that is also very important. Then you also need operating system, right, in the deployment server to run your project. Operating system and also some dependent libraries along with that. Dependent libraries. You would have used some environment variables as well, right? Environment variables. Okay, environment variables or environment configuration units. Okay, so these things are required, right, to run your project in the testing or deployment server. Even though providing these, these requirements to the deployment person, sometimes you would come across a issue saying that a project works in my system, but it is not working properly in the deployment or testing server. This issue is very common. Okay, to overcome this issue, okay, so there is a concept of containerization. Okay, so containerization can be used for development, testing, and that is typically popular with the deployment. Okay, let me go to the official documentation of okay. See, we have various container technologies. Okay, the popular is Docker, and yeah, in this session we'll learn Docker. We also have Creo, Rocket, so many container technologies. Okay, among that, we are preferring Docker. So let me go to the Docker documentation. Docker. Okay. Okay. Getting started. Let me just go to the documentation. Okay, get started with Docker. Yeah. So what is Docker? You can see it is one of the containerization technology. Okay. So Docker is an open platform for developing, shipping and running application. You can also develop the application using Docker, but it is very popular, okay, in shipping. Nothing but deploying the uh, application. Okay, it's popular among the deployment. And there is some, architecture diagram that you have to understand. So how the things works internally. You can see this is a diagram. How Docker works. So you have a Docker client. It is nothing but a CLI, and I can also say now in my system it is a Rancher desktop, either CLI or Rancher desktop. Okay, the interface that we interact with the Docker, nothing but a client. Okay, so if you are going with a paid one, definitely you can use Docker desktop. It is very much user friendly also. And there is a Docker host. Okay, under Docker host there is a Docker daemon. Okay, and so this is very important, Docker daemon. Okay, so Docker daemon listens for Docker API request and manages Docker objects. So what are the Docker objects? Images and containers, networks and also volumes. This is very important, Docker daemon. It is responsible for listening our request and managing the Docker objects. So what is image? Okay, so we have understood what is Docker client. It's the primary way that many Docker users interact with the Docker. Okay, that is nothing but a Docker client. Docker desktop, it's an interface actually. It is also used for the interaction. Yeah, image. So image is a read-only template with the instructions for creating a Docker container. See, in Java, you can refer class as an image, okay, and objects as a container. Okay, in image, you will have a template for creating the Docker container. There will be some set of instructions how the Docker container has to be created. Okay, we call it as an image, Docker image, and we do that with the help of a Docker file. Okay. So it's the image is nothing but a readable template. That's it. Okay. And what is container? Container is a runnable instance of the image. For example, objects. You will have a class, Java class, and you will create the objects out of Java class, right? So same way, by looking into the image, a container will be created. Okay. Container. See. Okay. See, these things are very important. And what is this registry? Registry here is Docker Hub. Okay, so where we store images. Okay, and we can also get the images. We can pull the images from the registry as well. And your organization may have some private registry, but there is some public registry from the Docker that is nothing but a Docker Hub. Okay, so that's why I told you to open the account in the Docker Hub so that we can pull the images. You will find so many images. See, for operating system, for MySQL, for every application or every software, you will have images. It could be public images or it could be private images someone would have created, right? You can just pull and you can run. Okay, that is nothing but a registry. So your organization might have the private registry or you can refer the public registry. So do your organization have a private registry with respect to deployment where you are?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You can consider that as a registry. You will be pulling the images, right? And you will also able to push the image. So you have created one image and you can also push that image so that you can use that image later point of time, or you can make that available for all the persons who are working in your organization. Okay, so that is nothing but a registry. So here in our case we will use Docker Hub. Okay, so I have already created an account, so you have to create an account and see I did search for MySQL because for my application, see, I would like to Dockerize my Spring Boot application completely. So I need some specific set of softwares, right? So one MySQL is one such software to store the information. I did search as MySQL. You can see I'm getting so many images, and MySQL is one such image. You can see the number of goals, right? You will also find the various version of this MySQL image if you get into this image, right? You can see. Uh, Suppose if you want image from the Docker, okay, Docker official image, or the image from the verified publisher, you can just check and you will get the images, depending on the trusted content. Okay, so yeah, this is Docker Hub. You have to create a account. Okay, and I told you to install Rancher Desktop. So Rancher Desktop I have already installed. The steps are very simple. Okay, it's not so complicated. So this is a Rancher Desktop. Earlier I was using Docker Desktop, but now it is not completely open source. So that's why we have switched to Rancher Desktop. Okay. Suppose if your organization is permitting for you to use Docker Desktop, definitely go with that. Okay. So let me click on this Rancher Desktop. I'm starting the Rancher Desktop. Okay, you can see it is getting started. What is it? I don't want to install. Okay, it is configuring Rancher Desktop. Let's see. It will take some time. I think there is a new version available, so it is installing the later version of Rancher Desktop. So let it configure. Meanwhile, I want you to understand how to create a multi-module project. Okay. See, there are advantages of creating multi-module project. Okay. So how the multi-module project will be created? You will create one parent project. Okay. And you don't have to package the parent one. And under the parent, you will add the modules. For example, in my case, I can create one parent project as contact API. Okay. And under that, I can add the services, that is API gateway, user profile service, discovery service, and contact service as a modules for the parent project. So that suppose if I want to run any of the Maven command, I can do that in the parent project. Suppose if I want to package all my modules, I want to package all the services, user profile, contact, API gateway, discovery service. So what is it I have to do? If I'm not following this multi-module approach, I have to go to the individual service and then I have to run the Maven command, right, for packaging, for testing, so on so, right? Now, there is a multi-module project. What I want, what I can do, if I want to package my services, I can simply go to